Holy cow, so freaking hard.
Chapter 5.
Chapter 5. Okay, I'm Cherry Doom.
I'm Charles.
And I'm Chad.
Here we are. It's Chapter 5, guys.
Chapter 5, guys.
Will you
Alright.
please read the summary, Chad?
When last we left off, Anna had passed out on the dance floor. So at the beginning of Chapter 5, Anna wakes up hungover in Christian's room. They did not have any sexual relations, but they did share a bed. They eat breakfast, and it's discovered that Kate and Elliot have also hit it off. Anna's clothes are covered with barf, so Christian's bodyguard brought her new ones, somehow knowing her exact size. She showers and also uses Christian's toothbrush. Then they leave the hotel, and Christian finally makes out with Anna in the elevator, after making some obtuse references to a contract for a sexual relationship.
All right, everybody. I love how Chad did not say the word fuck that I wrote in the summary. That's cute. All right. Do we have some pet theories? I do. I'm the one going first.
Okay,
I'm
go
such an
ahead.
idiot. My pet theory for this episode is that Anastasia is a steak. The reason that I think this is because I had a dream last night where I was doing this podcast that we're doing now, and I said to you and Chad, my theory is that Anastasia is a steak, and I gave a lot of good evidence, such as Christian is tenderizing her all the time and wants to set her on fire to cook her. It's so obvious. And it is so obvious. You know, he's always burning her with his gaze, and Anastasia's a steak. That's my theory.
And he will be doing a lot of tenderizing of her later, I believe.
Sure will.
Yeah, with all of the intense burning gazes, I think by the end she will literally just be smoldering.
This is the second podcast, or 50 Shades dream we've had. You're next, Chad. Watch out.
Wait, what? I don't understand.
Because I had a
Yeah,
dream
so
last
now you're
time.
gonna have a dream.
Oh, yeah. Visited by the 50 Shades, the spirit of 50 Shades.
Come to haunt you.
My pet theory is going back to I think our collective pet theory that Christian is Batman. He calls himself the Dark Knight.
Yeah, I totally have
does.
that.
In this
And we're
chapter.
gonna go over it because I was so excited when I saw that.
And I think that maybe he's trying to hint to Anna that that's who he is, but Anna's just too fucking
Right,
dumb.
and the contract naturally is so that she doesn't tell everybody that he's Batman.
Yeah, an NDA.
Yes, the NDA.
And my other theory is that Christian can only get a boner in an elevator. And that's why he keeps talking about how... What is it about elevators? That's actually his internal struggle. What
What is it?
What is it about elevators? This is the only place I can get an erection.
And his boner is also controlled by the direction of the elevator.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're gonna talk a little bit about boners later.
All right, Chad, any pet theories for you?
I do not have any new pet theories per se. My old one still stands: Anastasia, Christian Grey, the Bat, or Dorian Gray, and Bartok the Bat. In terms of pet theories for me, I don't really have much. But I think if he is possibly Christian Bale Batman, he could also be Christian Bale Patrick Bateman. It's kind of a weird.
I like that. Yeah.
I like that too.
Because I'm getting that vibe from this chapter.
With the cable ties and the tape and the rope,
Yeah.
definitely.
And maybe
Yeah.
not. Maybe the coveralls are kind of like a refashioning of the raincoat, the plastic raincoat.
Mm-hmm. Well, I personally am looking forward to him dropping a bunch of weight and becoming extremely paranoid to be Christian Bale and the Machinist.
And then eventually he'll save the world from the machines.
Oh my god, what, from Equilibrium?
Oh, Terminator Salvation.
Oh, he was in that?
Yeah, he played John Connor.
What? That was Nick Stahl.
What?
Wait, that was
no,
Terminator
in
3.
Terminator Salvation. Salvation was
What's
the one
that?
that was
Is that
set in
the
the
fourth
future,
movie?
yeah.
What?
He played
Oh, I've never heard
he
of
Yeah, I
plays
that.
haven't
John
either.
Connor in that one. It's really confusing. They've done a bad job with that. But anyway.
All right. Should we move on to grammar?
We're trying to cut down on mechanical stuff because it's
somebody complained. This is what you get for whining about everything. You get what you want. So hope that learns you a
Yeah.
lesson. So my single grammar mistake, I'll tell you. Here it is.
Okay.
All her patented moves used with maximum effect to seduce Christian's brother no less. That no less needs a comma before it. You cannot brother no less. Brother no less. That's bad. All right, that's it.
Are you putting that in comma jail?
Comma jail. Comma crime goes to comma jail. Gets the comma death sentence.
My mechanical thing is I head out of the door recalling his words. There's something about you. Well, the feeling is entirely mutual, Mr. Gray, and I aim to find out what his secret is. She refers to him as Mr. Gray, and then as if she's talking to Mr. Gray, and then says, I'm going to find out what his secret is, in the same sentence. when she probably should have said, the feeling is entirely mutual, Mr. Gray, and I'm going to find out what your secret is.
Yeah, that would have been better.
That just stuck out to me as majorly awful. Chad?
I didn't really pick any particular grammar points because a lot of it was pretty similar to other stuff, and you guys picked out some good examples. Mostly this time I focused on actual writing theory, I suppose, or like how you should write something. But this first one is actually, I suppose, more grammatical, or it's actually more of a style thing. So there's a line that's like, Christian Grey sweat, semicolon, the notion does odd things to me. But the second part of that phrase is still italicized. So the first part definitely reads like, oh, Christian Grey sweat, and then she's like explaining something, which doesn't seem like it would be something that would still be italicized if it was a thought.
Yeah, she gets real strange with the italics in this chapter. It's
annoying.
I don't know. Yeah, it's very confusing.
So that said, those mistakes said, let's start with stupid shit.
I have an American. It's she says, "Enlighten me then. We sit gazing at each other, neither of us touching our food. You're not celibate then?" I breathe. Putting it after "enlighten me" makes sense, but I don't think that "you're not celibate then" that strikes me as
a little bit, yeah. My Britishism, American, whatever, it doesn't matter. Where the hell is it? Ooh, la 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 la. Here we go.
No, that should be the new intro.
La 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 la. Well, maybe it will be, because you said that. So here it is, quote, "Thirdly, if I hadn't come to get you, you'd probably be waking up in the photographer's bed. And from what I can remember, you weren't overly enthused about him pressing his suit." Wait, what? Okay, no, I think that is the quote. "You weren't overly enthused about him pressing his suit," he says acidly. Pressing his suit.
What does it say after that?
What does it say after that? She says something like, "Oh, you talk like a loser!"
Okay, yeah, because...
No, she literally says that he sounds like he's from a medieval, like... She lampshade hangs that pretty hard.
Please explain. She couldn't mean suit of armor.
No, he means
like
pressing.
As a suitor.
I think it means
like a suitor.
Yeah,
pressing his suit.
Oh.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that either, so I checked just to make sure.
I thought it was that she was like literally pressing up against him and ironing his suit. He wasn't wearing
it's such an uncommon phrase that it's a really hilarious image. I'm beginning to worry that I might be Anastasia though, because I do say things like putting
Guess what? Yeah, you do. Because I noticed something that you say a lot. In the beginning of the chapter when she wakes up, she's going, "Oh no." Which is something you say all the time.
But it's just a joke.
No. Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no, how could you point out something like that? Oh no.
Oh boy.
I have a few. So the first one is, "You've plenty of time," which is something Christian says.
Yeah, there's a lot of apostrophe VE that strikes me as very British.
Yeah.
It's also interesting because, and this goes into mechanics a little bit, she kind of picks and chooses where to put contractions really strangely, like throughout the narration.
Yeah.
So the next one is that Anastasia internally calls Christian a pompous ass, which isn't so British, but it's kind of an uncommon thing in the US.
Yeah, pompous.
Yeah.
That's weird.
And specifically pompous ass.
Also calling people asses.
Yeah.
Like, you don't say like, "You fucking ass!" You say asshole.
Yeah. So specifically saying pompous ass, that seems pretty British to me.
Yeah, if she had said pompous asshole, I would believe it.
Or like pompous dick or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the last one is Anastasia is like really confused about something Christian says, and she says, "What in heaven's name?" internally, which makes her sound like an old British grandma.
What in heaven's name is happening?
Yeah, I think I recall that too. I was like, I wonder if she's religious.
Huh.
I doubt it.
It doesn't come up.
Because she says holy shit and holy fuck all the time.
Well, I mean, there's people who
that's
swear but are also religious.
What about Bart Simpson? He says holy cow. He is almost certainly a devil worshipper.
That seems like like blaspheming in that way seems, something you would do.
Sure.
Okay, I'm getting really fucking tired. Okay, she started it last chapter when she said, tequila. And now she's starting to say it every, 2 pages or so. She says it in the second line, where she's, comfortable and warm. She says, And then she says it, after he mentions the photographer, she thinks, young Jose, which I hated. Young Jose. Why did I don't know why she refers to him. I guess he's a year younger. He's in a lower...
Yeah, he's slightly younger than her.
But still, it's like, Oh yes, young Jose. How droll.
The one thing is, like, let's say I'm talking to some guys. Was it Chad? Was it Chad and a couple other people? I don't remember. I was talking to some people on Skype, and I said something like, "Oh, I've been talking with these young men for an hour or more, but those men are older than me."
Yeah, it was us.
Yeah, it is. It's a very kind of jokey thing.
Yeah,
That actually legitimately seems like something you could write up to or chalk up to her supposed like English major nature, because that is a thing that like is said a lot in British literature in particular, where it's young, etc.
I tend to think of like young ladies. Young ladies.
Oh, I was thinking like like young Werther or like
Oh, okay.
young Mr. Darcy, like young. That's a very common thing. That's the sort of like you would get it in that sort of literature, like referred to as that way.
The young master has been ringing his bell. He would like his slippers brought up to him.
Yeah, you definitely get like a butler referring to, like, if Christian Grey were, if this were like Victorian era, you get like Christian Grey's butler referring to him as young Master Grey.
If Christian Grey was Batman, he would almost certainly be called Young Master Bruce.
Not when his parents are dead,
No.
I think.
No.
Not when there's only if there. I feel like that's only if there's a father and a son.
That's true. Yeah.
Anyways, in the very same page, she says, desire. This is desire. And then later she says, again, after thinking about using his toothbrush. And like, she hasn't done this, I don't think, yet. She started doing it last chapter when she was drunk. And now she's doing it like 5 times in this chapter. I'm wondering if somehow her getting drunk for the first time has triggered this tendency in her.
To say, She's hesitating because of the brain cells that she's lost. Perhaps the hangover.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. It's possible.
The other possibility is that it's the only way that E.L. James knows how to communicate like ponderance.
I think it might be something where she just decided to start using this as she was writing it. And she was writing it in order rather than planning. That doesn't really make sense.
Retconning or whatever, yeah.
Retconning or like writing some things. I mean, some people do things linearly. Anyway,
Sure.
Yeah, it's definitely linear fan fiction nature of writing. I think where tone can sort of change throughout as you grow.
Yeah,
as a writer.
I'm inclined to agree with that.
She says Michelangelo's David has nothing on him. And I said, really?
I'm so afraid to say this. Michelangelo's David...
Maybe he has a bigger dick.
Yeah, well,
but...
that's what I was about to say.
Okay.
He got a tiny baby dick.
That's true. But she wasn't looking at his dick.
Well...
He was in a towel.
I think she was referring to his physique.
Yeah, and I'm just like... I guess he's got just a really great physique, but...
Well, speaking of, the towel, right before he takes a shower... Quote, he's in gray sweatpants that hang in that way.
Yes. My God.
In what way, I could not tell you. In that way, off his hips, and a gray singlet, which is dark with sweat, like his hair. What is a singlet? Do you know what I figured out what it is.
Oh, that's different in the print version.
I know what a singlet is, and I'll tell you guys. But okay, in my version, he's wearing a singlet and sweatpants. That's really weird.
Yeah, that sounds like he's wearing a wrestling singlet.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Which is like...
it's really gratuitous.
Latex, or not latex, but spandex.
Yeah,
boner
exactly.
Showing.
So he walks in the room with this sort of Borat singlet and sweatpants, and she's like, oh my God. I mean, if he was really working out, what does he need to wear a singlet for? Is he gonna wrestle someone?
Yeah, he's just wearing a gray sleeveless t-shirt in the print version. I think maybe a singlet is called. That's what a singlet is called in Britain.
No, I don't think
No?
so. I mean, well, I did just a little Google, but I didn't get any armless t-shirt. It's stupid. I guess my other question was, why would you wear that with sweatpants? Either commit to the singlet or don't wear sweatpants over.
She's walking into the main room, and she says, it's the size of a tennis court or something. Not that I play tennis, though I have watched Kate a few times. Kate! Crap, Kate, I croak. This, she thinks about the tennis court just so that she can think about Kate.
Yep, it's a terrible segue.
One of the worst segues I've ever seen. It's, definitely, working backwards. How can Anastasia think about Kate and remember that she has a friend who probably is concerned about her?
6 degrees or less of separation from Kate.
Yes. Yeah, I don't... It's so strange.
Hotel room big. Tennis. Tennis courts are big. I I don't play tennis.
I don't play though, but Kate does.
Kate does. Oh my god, Kate!
I wonder, is there going to be like a running trend of these like really shitty sports interjections in the middle of thoughts?
Wouldn't that be great?
That would be great. Okay, I think that's it for phrasing for me.
So when Anna's going in to take a shower, she describes herself as clambering into the shower, which I just thought was a hilarious image.
Oh, like crawling on her hands.
Yeah,
and
like
knees?
climbing, like literally climbing into the shower.
Oh, the
or,
shower's
like,
so high. I can't get in.
having to climb some rope ladder into the shower. In particular, because it's not like she's really under any time pressure or anything.
Oh, I better get in. Well, wait, isn't she under time pressure though? I don't know at what point he says that she needs
Breakfast,
to get
I
home.
guess.
Or breakfast, yeah. There's a little bit.
She doesn't seem to realize that she needs to be at Clayton's.
Yeah,
for a
there's
while.
that also. Maybe subconsciously she does. Chad, do you have any more stuff to say about the shower?
Just one thing about the water where she says that it's like a welcoming torrent, which is just kind of a funny way to put it because I don't really think water can be welcoming, but
I think it can. What about like a warm
I think
bath?
so. Definitely if it's warm. It's like if you're like cold, if you've been out in the rain and you just want a warm shower, then definitely feels welcoming, I would say.
I guess this is more of a semantic thing because I really think that's like you feel like it's a welcome thing rather than the water is welcoming you.
I don't know. I don't know. I still think I would like to anthropomorphize this water so that I have
Yeah,
a
that's
friend.
cool. I like
Okay.
having more friends.
That's fair.
About this shower, and this is the other reason why I know that she's on a time limit for some crazy reason. She gets called out of the shower by Christian, like, "Are you done yet?" Something like that. But before she does, she's using the soap on herself. And this is what she says. Quote, "I rub it all over myself, fantasizing that it's him. Him rubbing this heavenly scented soap into my body, across my breast, over my stomach, between my thighs, with his long figured hands." And then she gets cut off and he's like, "Come in the room." There are just a couple things here that we need to talk about. She has stolen his hands. Suddenly his long fingered hands are hers. I know she's fantasizing that it's him, but she's the one doing all this shit. That's weird.
I don't know. I think like the fantasy is him rubbing
Well,
his hands.
why wouldn't she say,
Or-
like, I imagine his long fingered hands going there?
She does say that.
She says it a couple sentences ago. Well, okay, I see what you mean, but at the time it didn't read well to me and I was really confused.
Yeah, I was too, like, because when I started reading him rubbing his heavenly scented soap into my body, across my breast, over my stomach, between my thighs, and his long fingered hands, like, I was like, oh, wait, why is she have his
Yeah,
hand suddenly?
it reads strange. I don't know how you would fix that, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so she is masturbating here. Did I misread that? She is. Because she goes between her
very vaguely,
thighs.
I think.
Maybe it's too low down, but...
I think she's very vaguely, like just, on the cusp of discovering it, maybe.
Just for everybody who masturbates, please don't put soap inside of your vagina. I don't know why I thought that she did this.
Especially if you're a guy.
Especially if you're a guy. Do whatever you want to clean it, but, like, don't put it in. Don't put it in. It just seemed dangerous.
You'll fuck up the
Yeah,
pH.
it'll fuck up the pH. You'll get a yeast infection or a bacterial infection. So don't do that. That was what I had to say about the shower. Please go on.
Chad's still saying stuff.
Yeah, I think at least one thing I'll put in. So page 78, where they're actually kissing, she's describing the kiss, and one of the phrases is something that's all touch and sensation. Like, well, yes, that's what a kiss is. That's what they're about.
It's spiritual and a figurative kiss.
It's not like a visual sensation or...
I see myself kissing him. Yeah, it kind of has to be that thing you said. It can't really be anything else.
Yeah.
But, like, that's the thing. If it was something else, like if it was transcendental, she should have put that in instead. Maybe it would have been cooler.
Nope, but as it stands, it basically just ties back into my theory of them not really being human.
Yeah.
Because apparently that's not how kissing works for them.
Yeah.
It's a very unique
Well, you
experience
see,
for
we
her.
use ESP to kiss.
Or maybe this is like a kind of near far future, like Demolition Man, where they have those weird helmets that allow them to interface with each other.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even intercourse; it's interface. Does it seem clear to you guys, like, whether or not Anna's probably ever kissed anybody before?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's because I read the book, so I can't really give you a good answer anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I could say that because she's like, no one's ever held my hand. I'm such an innocent.
I'm a big idiot. What's a hand? What's a kiss? Well, you see, a kiss it's a highly physical experience.
It's a little piece of chocolate.
Yeah, those are good.
They have peppermint kisses now. They're seasonal.
Oh, yes, I gotta get those.
I like the white chocolate ones.
So do I.
Candy chat.
I got a bunch of candy today because I was feeling bad.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry to hear it.
Just a tummy ache. A lady. Okay, all right. Stop talking about my period on the podcast.
And a period. It's okay. When I have my period, I'll be sure to talk about it because I can't stop myself.
Oh, I've got a question for the spoiler dungeon.
I think I know what it is. Okay, so let's start on situational stuff. I will start us off.
Okay.
I've mentioned a couple things already. How lucky. In my notes, this is labeled "What the fuck." Here's the quote. Oh my. Sweat and body wash and Christian. It's a heady cocktail. So much better than a margarita, and now I can speak from experience. Wait a second! She's making a reference to Jose versus
That's what
Christian
I thought.
Here. How is she
But
not?
I think she. But
I thought she was just literally talking about the margarita.
And about being drunk for the first time.
She could just be talking about a margarita, but like.
But yeah, I definitely think she
obviously
was talking about how she didn't like how Jose smelled because he was drunk.
Now she can speak from experience. Plus, it wasn't the first time that she'd ever had a drink. It was just the first time she'd ever got drunk. So
Yeah.
she could have had a margarita.
She said
before
tons
this.
of champagne.
Yeah, she said tons of champagne.
I thought she said explicitly that it was her first margarita. But,
really?
It doesn't matter. I think you're probably. There's some element of
like it's sort of like saying like, I tried the taco and I tried the sausage and now I want the sausage. That could also be linked back to Kate as well, if you think about it, the way that food can be genitals.
Yep.
All right, next. After you passed, or no, hey, wait a sec. After you passed out, I didn't want to risk the leather upholstery in my car taking you all the way to your apartment, so I brought you here.
Why does he
Christian
sound
says
like that?
phlegmatically.
Oh, right. Okay.
He says it phlegmatically?
phlegmatically.
So does he have a cold, or is there another interpretation of that word that I'm not aware of?
I thought that at first too, but actually it means stoic, impassive, calm.
Oh.
It doesn't sound like it means that.
It's because of the humors, like in like Chaucer
okay.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you're phlegmatic or you're like bilious.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, but that was confusing to me at first.
Oh, right. I meant to actually put that down because that is kind of a British thing. That's like an uncommon U.S. definition of phlegmatic.
Yeah, we would never use it that way.
She does technically use the word right. It's just really weird.
Yeah, we should get some English listeners so they can tell us if we're full of shit.
Speaking of that sentence, he says, "Oh, I didn't want you to throw up on my car." Like how they can't have been very far from the university because they were going from the university to celebrate with a bunch of other university students. So I'm thinking they must have been close to the university. So
But wait a sec. But if he is still at the Heathman, how far is that from the university?
I don't know, but I mean, I feel like it can't be that much closer. I feel like he just did this to have an excuse to get her in his hotel room.
It's also, in E.L. James's defense, she doesn't really know anything about U.S. geography,
True.
I would assume.
Yeah, perhaps.
And I would guess she's probably never been to Vancouver, Washington.
I don't know either. I would just think it would stand to reason that these university students would be near a bar, which are usually pretty close to universities because they get a lot of university students.
But it's hard to say because, I don't know anything about the town, but it could be like slightly more urban, and if so, maybe they just went to a nicer bar. But who knows?
Yeah. What else is he gonna do though? Like, is he gonna carry her to the hotel? Like, he's gonna drive.
Yeah.
He made Taylor.
I just feel like the bar can't have been closer to the hotel than the. Anyway, all right.
So she's in this. She wakes up in the hotel suite. Okay, They talk. Quote: Anastasia, I don't think so. Dark Knight, maybe. His smile is sardonic and he shakes his head. Christian Grey's Christian Bale's Batman. You heard it here. You heard it now. My theory is correct.
Yeah, I mentioned this.
Yeah, we mentioned it, but it's still as true as it was then.
Okay.
After this, or before this, I don't fucking care. Taylor, the bodyguard, because she has barfed all over her clothes, which Christian says in like a really mean way, like, I don't have the quote here.
They were spattered with your vomit.
Yeah, they were spattered with your vomit. What a dick. Okay, so Taylor has somehow brought Anastasia some underwear. knowing her size, what did Christian do? Did he take a tape measure and like check her out when she was asleep? Because that's the only thing I could see happening.
He might have checked the bra. He could have checked the bra tag.
Yeah, but isn't that kind of much?
Yeah, but it's less than measuring her.
He just had like a trunk of like things that he usually has other people wear, and he's just putting them on her.
Oh,
I'm
no,
like,
no.
This just fits. This is
The
it.
price tag was intact.
No, I mean like he had like a trunk of things he makes people wear, but he made Taylor go buy that. Like he found one that fit, and then he made Taylor go buy something that was the same size.
That is creepy. So to talk about the underwear, time for Charles' fashion chat. Vogue,
Oh
Vogue.
boy.
Assuming that Anna has my skin tone, and I'm gonna guess that she does because they say that she's, you know, she has pale skin, she has brown hair. Just assuming. Light blue is not a nice color. A deep or intense bright blue would work kind of nicely, but using washed out colors that aren't warm tones are gonna look strange on a pale complexion if it doesn't have like like maybe if she was like kind of olive skinned and not freckly, it would be all right. I also find it a little strange that they don't mention her cup size, but again, that might be so that anybody can read the book and feel good. Also, guess what, guys? Guess what?
What?
There's literally a 50 Shades lingerie line that Target is selling.
Oh,
What?
I'm checking this out right now.
Oh my fucking god.
What?
It looks like it's in Australia for some reason, but not America, but my point remains. So if you'll scroll down with me, you can actually see the bra that he was purported to have bought. That's it. 50 Shades of Grey, a fair sky blue bra, $24.50.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
Yeah, so there it is. It's kind of a bit lackluster compared to the book's description of it, but anyways.
Yeah, I was imagining a much brighter, cheerfully blue.
Yeah, this is like a dumb blue that doesn't look good. See, it looks good on the model because she's kind of like she has a warmer skin tone. But if Anna has a cool skin tone, it's not gonna look good. Anyways, we can retcon this whole passage and say that Taylor went to Target. What a busta! It wasn't made by a European artisan. It was made by like a poor Asian child labor worker.
Aww.
Oh, how sad. Okay, yeah, this is gross. She uses his toothbrush to brush her teeth.
Now, I'm not saying that she would get hepatitis from this, but she could.
Wait, hepatitis? Isn't that like a blood disease?
Well, yeah, but if you're brushing your teeth, especially if you brush vigorously like I do sometimes, it is not out of the question that you might, get a little blood from your gums.
Micro lacerations or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, one of the things they ask you when you get tested for hepatitis is if you've been sharing toothbrushes with someone.
Okay.
And I mean, I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but I mean,
It might.
you don't fucking know
Yeah,
him.
she wasn't being careful. She
Yeah.
doesn't think. Anna, you don't think. The other thing, the more realistic thing she might catch is like herpes. Especially if you just use it.
Though, actually, does that go on? I thought that only was on the outside
Outside of the
mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, it is, but
and it had to be skin to skin contact.
when people get skin to skin, but it's still, I would say it's not advisable.
Yeah.
Nonetheless.
Pretty sure that you can pick up like oral herpes from chapstick and towels and stuff.
I think you're right, actually.
Yeah, I feel like that's correct. I've heard that.
So I think probably a toothbrush you could probably get it because they're small, like there's little they're porous,
Yeah.
like the bristles are porous and stuff like that. So
TLDR.
Don't do it.
TLDL. Yeah, don't
do it.
use someone else's toothbrush if you don't know whether or not they have herpes or hepatitis.
Hepatitis.
You guys want to talk about the elevator kiss?
Okay.
Sure.
All right, we finally get our first kiss. Oh my god! It's not very erotic. A lot of readers, in particular, they like to tease this passage because it's the first time she mentions that Christian's erection is, quote, against her belly. Like, yeah, finally there's a genital. Oh yeah, I'm coming right now.
We don't really have any proof that either of them have genitals yet.
Well, we do
But,
now, unless he was like.
It could have been anything in there.
I mean, he could be a robot.
Unless he put like a cucumber in there.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Okay, so they make out. She feels that. And then suddenly he pulls back and a bunch of people come into the elevator. Shouldn't everybody be able to see his burgeoning erection if he's like in workout clothes?
I think
He's,
they
I
can.
think he's, I think he's changed it. Yeah, he changed at this point. Now he's
Oh, he
wearing
did?
slacks and a white
Yeah,
shirt
but
with
slacks-
cuffs and collar
That doesn't
undone.
make it
But
any
slacks,
better.
I don't really...
I don't know. Is that
Pla-
isn't it like if the looser it is, maybe they're loose.
Well, the looser it is, the worse it is.
Oh.
The tighter it is, the better it is, because then you... I don't want to say...
Straps it down.
Yeah, well, yeah, like, straps it up. Or something. However you want to use your imagination. Shouldn't everybody just be able to see that? Like, is that why they're laughing when they come in the elevator? Because you're like, look at this guy's fucking dick.
That's basically what I thought.
That's what I think, too. And in retrospect, he should have hid behind Anna. And then nobody would have laughed at him.
I have a few things about this scene. The first thing she says is, I glance up at him. He looks so cool and calm. Like he's been doing the Seattle Times crossword. How unfair. Is he totally unaffected by my presence? Like, he was just making out with you, telling you how sweet you were, and like immediately her self-esteem just like plummets.
I know.
He was just pushing his
Yeah,
erection
he's like,
into your stomach.
oh, he doesn't like me. He's not affected
He was just
by
like
me at all.
grinding his huge dick against you. And like, oh, but maybe he doesn't like me. Shut up.
So insecure.
I was gonna ask about that too, because she has some more insecurity in this chapter before they actually like get to the making out when they're still in the hotel room.
It's not enough that a guy slept in your bed, checked out your bra size, got you new clothes.
That was part of it. She was like, oh, he slept in the bed, but he didn't touch me. Like, oh, he
Yeah.
must not like me. He hasn't made a pass at me. I was a little confused by that. I was like, I mean, is that the only way that she'd be able to tell that he was interested if he like outright just
I feel
hit
like
on
it's a
her?
little bit vain.
What counts as a pass? He like puts his thumb on her lips.
Yeah.
And then she thinks like, oh, he must be gay. Just so stupid.
He defends her against like her pretty like touchy-feely friend and then takes her back to a hotel room and I don't know. It's like, what's her deal? She's just dumb?
Yeah.
I mean, clearly.
You could argue, I can't believe I'm playing devil's advocate here. You could argue that she, through her inexperience, is making these stupid kind of conclusions because she doesn't know any better. Nobody's ever. Yeah. And that is how her bad
And
decisions.
that's really what I think. But
Bad decisions and impressions are formed by that for her.
I don't know. If it was me, honestly, I would probably be like, oh, he definitely likes me. But I would be wrong. And I would like I would have put too much into I would like be reading way too much into the situation. And I feel like as someone who likes romantic stuff, then she would be doing that too. But she's not. Or she's like very tentatively reading into it and then like very quickly pulling back. I mean, maybe she's just more reasonable than me.
I don't know. You know, it's funny because earlier today I was talking to one of my professors after I turned a paper in. And I said something like this, like, if you have low expectations in life, you're always going to be happy. Like, if you think to yourself, like, wow, I'm an ugly piece of shit, no boy likes me,
Yeah.
my friend is more gorgeous than me, and then, like, you know, it all obviously gets turned around because that's not a realistic impression to have, to be all negative. But, like, it works for me because then I'm like, yay, like, it was good. But she's like, no, it's still bad. I don't know. How do I dare this?
Yeah, and I know I've peeked ahead a little bit, and I sort of know that this is going to come back in a different sort of form.
Comes back in many forms. That is most of my stuff. If you guys have other stuff you want to share, please do.
So how did Christian just happen to walk in a few moments after Anna woke up?
He was watching her.
Exactly, obviously.
he knocks, but then he just walks into the room
Yeah.
without saying anything. And like, if she doesn't know that she's in his room for certain, I mean, that could be like anybody. He doesn't announce himself. He doesn't give her time to like prepare herself if she might be awake or anything. I know he might just be like checking on her to make sure she's okay, but normally you'd still say something like, "It's me, Anna, don't worry," or something like that.
To quote Patrick Stewart in is it The Extras? He's already seen everything. Christian's already seen everything.
Yep. I've
It's
seen
too late.
everything.
He's seen everything.
So really, he doesn't really have to like wait before he walks in the room. He's already checked the bra size.
But for her
All of her
own,
clothes just happened to
her
fall
own
off
comfort.
because she's barked on them. She's already seen everything.
But I don't think that's a good argument. Like, that's a fine argument
Exactly.
from his perspective, but from Anna's perspective...
Yeah, she will feel pretty violated and bad.
Yep.
At no point was I trying to say that was okay, just that it's happening.
Oh, okay. I see.
They're talking about him scolding her, and then he says, well, if you were mine, you wouldn't be able to sit down for a week after the stunt you
Oh,
pulled
that
yesterday.
bothered me a lot. I forgot about this.
And then
Yeah.
she totally ignores the thing about not being able to sit down and latches on to the part about being his. And
That's so dangerous. That's so fucking dangerous. The only time people say that in America, maybe it's not different in England. They only say that when they are abusive. Nobody
Yeah.
says that. That is like what you used to say to your wife in like the 30s when you beat her up because she didn't like
Yeah.
make dinner or something.
Exactly. Yeah, she doesn't mention it at all. There are all kinds of things in this chapter.
Yeah, the rapey connotations continue.
The thing about him being a disciplinarian, and he's, oh, Anastasia, you have no idea. And then he, like, smiles, and she's, like, totally disarmed, and she's like, oh, he's so handsome.
He's so handsome! I love it when dangerous males affect me badly.
And then, okay, so he buys all that shit at the hardware store. He buys all that shit at the hardware store. And she's got some sort of inkling, but she doesn't ever connect it. And then he's hinting at this big secret that he's got, that he has to show her the reason why they can't be together, why he's not a flowers and romance kind of guy. She has, like, no clue what it could be.
Can I just say, if he showed her a woman locked up in his basement, that would not surprise me, based on the way that the narrative has been going.
Yeah, I agree with that. Her first instinct is that he white slaves small children.
Well, she should have kept with that
Yeah.
impression. I mean, maybe the small children thing, I don't see that, but like definitely like the woman in the basement, the woman in the attic.
Yeah.
I see that.
I mean, I guess it could be, devil's advocate, it could be just another, mark of her innocence, that she has no clue about this BDSM world at all, or something, so it doesn't
Yeah,
even...
but you have to be pretty damn... Like, we have no positive evidence that she had a reason to be... We have no positive reason that she would be sheltered like this.
Yeah.
She's not religious. She's not like... well, I didn't want to say this to alienate anybody, but she's not a Mormon. The author's not a Mormon. She's
Right.
not a nun. She seems pretty normal, except for having the really bad, self-esteem.
Mhm.
We know about her family life. She had a mom who remarried, probably a pretty liberal person.
Yeah.
She has this dad who's supportive of her. She has no reason to be like this. None.
I mean, maybe she just has no clue about pop culture, or,
I mean, she could be like a backwards gubby loser who doesn't understand. Yeah, but there's no...
Yeah, I'm sort of interested to see, but wondering if she, like, when she discovers it, she's like, oh yeah, this stuff, or just like, she's like, what? Anyway.
It will become clear as our episodes go on.
Then there was a thing about, Christian talks about needing written consent before touching Anna, but he does all these fucking shitty mind games where he's, like, sending her books, and, like, he is touching her.
He pretends that he's really good with boundaries,
Yeah.
but he's really bad with them.
Yeah.
Holy my god.
Yeah.
And that's why when you read this book, you can have the horrible rapey subcontext that we have been saying exists. Okay, that drink of water at the bar was a roofie. She passed out hella quick.
He's been at the Heathman for all week, just
He's been
staking her
all
out.
week for the sole reason of staking her out. He brings her back home, sleeps in a bed with her. Please don't tell me that's not like very stalker material.
Yep.
He could have slept on the couch or vice versa.
He could have just gotten her her own room.
And then like he buys her clothes. He buys her fucking clothes. Like, this is not okay.
Could have
Oh my
left her a
God.
note saying what happened, so call me when you wake up. Then I don't know. This was sort of struck me as odd. She's like suddenly very open about liking him. She
Yeah.
suddenly says, like, as soon as he says, "Oh, I can't stay away," she's like, "Then don't."
Well, because I think she had that first time where they almost kissed and then he was like, nah, fuck it. So now she's like, all right, I gotta be more enterprising about this stuff.
I guess.
No, she's like just a lot more. She seems a lot more like a sort of for no reason. She tries to like have repartee with him
Yeah.
in the dialogue, and she's a lot more sexually like forward. Eventually, it's weird. It doesn't make sense based on how she's been characterized.
So do you guys
before.
think that it's a natural build-up?
Maybe it's triggered by her masturbation session in the shower.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe she's just horny now.
Yeah, well,
Maybe it wasn't Advil. Maybe it was like ginseng or something. That really increased her brain
aphrodisiac.
power.
Well, you know what they say. Once you start up the engine, you can't stop it. Can't stop it.
I have a couple things. One, and this is kind of situational. When she walks into the dining room, the main area of the hotel room, Anna describes what Christian's wearing, but she only says like he's wearing a white linen shirt and then mentions that the collars and cuffs are undone. And it kind of sounds like he's only wearing a shirt, like he's not wearing pants anymore.
This is just like that time she imagined him with everything else on except for his pants.
Her fantasies come true.
Fantasy came true.
Or the time that he was coveralls. Another thing was when Christian makes reference to sleeping with someone being a novel event, but in the like sense of actually literally sleeping with someone. And she's like, "Oh, what in heaven's name does that mean?" Which is weird. Like, why is she taking that not literally? Because it seems pretty obvious. And then two, why is she taking the figurative sense to be literal in that he's a virgin? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because that makes it sound like she thinks they've
it doesn't make any sense.
That confuses me. Also, like, you know, for somebody who's as naive as Anna is, why would she jump to that conclusion first? Why wouldn't she think, like...
Yeah.
Well, or, like, what am I trying to say? Like, she hasn't shared a bed with anybody, sexual or non. I guarantee you.
Exactly.
So what a strange conclusion to make.
It's like it seems that to most people, even people that, you know, really were virgins, they would get what he was saying. Because it should be clear that they probably like they didn't sleep together in a sexual sense, so it should trigger something like, oh, that's a little
Well, it's just like it's incorrect. It's incorrect as far as her characterization goes, like for her to suddenly be like that.
Another thing, like right after when she comes out, he tells her where to sit, and he's like, sit, and then he points at a place at the table, and that's the way that it's written, like sit, he commands, pointing to a place at the table. And then in the next sentence, she, like E.L. James writes that it's opposite the table. And she took an extra sentence to put insert description where she could have just said in the first place where he was pointing rather than just a generic place. And also apparently she's on the opposite end of a table that's like really, because when I read it, I thought that she was saying that like the table was the length of the tennis court. It was really confusing.
Oh my gosh.
Which would have been weird. They would have been shouting at each other.
Right, it would be this kind of, you know, in those like movies about the aristocracy, like they have like the really long table and then, like the kid is at the end and like the mean dad is at the other end.
Yeah.
And they're like not talking to each other and the kid goes like, I'm not hungry!
And like the last component of that is that it doesn't matter where she sat, so she could have just left it ambiguous. So then this is another thing about unnecessary description. Christian at one point I forget what he's talking about, but he really quickly runs through the events that happened when she almost got hit by the bike. It's like, oh, you were almost hit by the cyclist, and then we almost kissed, and it's like, well, we just read that was like 2 chapters ago. Did you really need to describe the whole thing?
I sort of think that might be a confirmation that he understood what was going on there too.
Okay.
Like,
that's what I got. But he didn't need to go through all of it.
He could have just said like excessive. That one time, and then we would have known because that's the only other time they have done such a thing.
Exactly.
This happens again too when Anna is right after he makes the helicopter arrangements, where she's like, "Oh my gosh, he wants to bite on my lip, and we're gonna go on a helicopter ride."
Oh, yeah.
That was just described to us. She says once they get in the elevator, suddenly, for some inexplicable reason, possibly our proximity in such an enclosed space. She says it's inexplicable, then she goes on to explain it, and that's stupid. She could either just say it was inexplicable, or she could ignore the inexplicable part and just leave it at speculation.
Yeah, she does that a lot.
Without qualifying
I can't explain my illogical reaction. You just did.
But maybe it's this.
Yeah.
Maybe it's illogical. There, you explained it, idiot.
Okay, my favorite line was, Charlie Tango, who's he?
Stupid!
I just like that was just so goofy, and there was another the thing that I thought was good. Like I was like, oh, that was pretty cute, but like this just like totally ruined that good vibe.
Yeah, that was.
It was just like so silly, and I mean,
is that a person? Who's that?
It was obviously military code.
Additionally, both her and Kate's fathers were in Vietnam, so you'd think she might have at least heard them talking about like that sort of thing.
My favorite line was the one about the margarita, because like it's just so cheesy. And I'll read it again. Oh my, Sweat and body wash from Christian. It's a heady cocktail. So much better than a margarita. And now I can speak from experience. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you interpret it. It's still dumb. Chad, what's your favorite line?
Okay, my favorite line is the tennis court line, and I will read it. Okay. It's the size of a tennis court or something. Not that I play tennis, though I have watched Kate a few times. Kate!
Oh, God. Goddess Watch.
Okay.
All right, so this is the introduction this is the first mention of the inner goddess, and I think that we should instate a goddess watch.
I think we should too, especially because that completely slipped my notice. Where did she come up?
The very end, after they kiss, so that was the trigger, really.
Oh, so is her inner goddess like her lady boner?
Maybe, or maybe he implanted some sort of parasite inside her.
Jesus
with his kiss.
Christ. Do you think he has an inner god?
Maybe. She says, "Oh, he's affected all right, and my very small inner goddess sways in a gentle Victoria samba."
Very small.
She's very small, so I'm gonna put that as how should we scale this? This goddess watch threat level.
Well, since for now she's very small, she couldn't do that much damage if she wanted to.
Yeah, all right.
And everything. Let's say she's like 4.5 inches tall right now, and she's only just been unleashed, so she's weak. I say we put Goddess Watch at yellow.
Yellow? That's pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty heavy. I mean, she is there though. We have been at green previously,
right.
So
we've been at green previously. She was completely not there. Now she's there. A force that we don't know what we're dealing with. We need to be on guard. Therefore, yellow.
I agree. Yellow. Goddess Watch yellow. Be on alert.
I want to talk about the many forms that her subconscious is taking. She does many things in this chapter. She does okay, hang on. I flush at the waywardness of my subconscious. She's doing her happy dance in a bright red hula skirt at the thought of being his.
Well, it's strange because the subconscious before this was very anti-Christian.
This is part of my theory, is that it's some sort of multi-headed hydra creature.
Wow.
Because, or else, later, you've slept in his bed all night and he's not touched you, Anna. You do the math. My subconscious has reared her ugly, snide head, as opposed to her hula dancing head.
What do they call those figures in Indian mythology? Is it Ashura? They have like multiple heads on one.
Oh yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
And then like their side faces, yeah, or like the Final Fantasy boss if you're that kind of listener. So like to illustrate her mood, like she'll switch a face and like yeah. My other like image of her with all her like costumes is like if anyone ever watched Tiny Toons, Babs the Bunny was a master of disguise voiced by Tress MacNeille, and she would often like switch into these costumes to do like a ridiculous impersonation. And that's what this reminds me of, where she's like got a hula skirt on and then she's got these half moon spectacles looking down at Anna. What if it's just drag queen Dumbledore?
Maybe.
Yeah. I guess it's a thing that I'll have to think about between this pet theory and the next one.
Kate chat.
Okay. She only gets mentioned once.
Yeah. Well,
I have many things to say about Kate.
Okay, she talks about having to endure Kate's awful PJs after her one-night stands. She's talking about how these PJs are the bad thing, but it sounds like what the bad thing is that Kate's been dumped after she's had a one-night stand, and she's feeling like
that's horrible.
Guilty about sleeping with this guy, and now she's like wearing her breakup pants.
Thanks a lot, Anna, you fucking insensitive pig.
Yeah.
It's also a 180 from how she was treating that earlier in the book, where she was like, oh no, she's got it on, I know what that means, but she's real sympathetic. And then like now she's like, oh no, it's what a loser.
And she's like, oh no, now she's gonna think that I've had a one-night stand too. Like, so what? Who cares?
Yeah,
like,
just chill.
Yeah. This is like an interesting statement on hookup culture, I guess. I'm wondering if Kate has ever had a BF, because like she said, this has happened twice in our time together. So
I think so, because she said breakups. Like, these are her breakup pants.
Yeah, but okay, I suppose so.
Because I don't think a one-night stand doesn't constitute a breakup if it doesn't go well afterwards.
I suppose. She's only done this twice before, and both times I've had to endure the hideous pink PJs for a week after the fallout.
Well, okay.
So
Maybe. So yeah, that doesn't necessarily say that she has broken up twice before, but it does say that she has done whatever this is 2 times before.
yeah. But maybe this is what Anna thinks of as a breakup. Or maybe that was just her polite way of putting it when she mentioned it earlier.
God, what a nerd.
All right, so I'm done with that's my Kate chat.
All right.
I have a few things to say about Kate. She doesn't really come up in this chapter and nobody talks to her, but, and this is going to kind of tie into like my safe word stuff later, I don't understand how they ever got out of the bar, Christian and Anna, because Kate was there and Kate seemed pretty suspicious of him. Christian.
There was a boy.
Yeah, Christian sent in Elliot to distract her so that he
Anna
could...
passed out on the dance floor and Christian very audibly went, fuck.
I think they were off the dance floor at that point, actually.
I don't know. It didn't sound like a very big place.
Christian propels us off the dance floor in double time, but I never got to talk to her. It sounds like they were out of ear and eye shot at that point. But yeah.
I understand that they were both like drunk, Anna and Kate, but Kate seems like the type of person who would, if she had seen Christian dragging around Anna like that, she would have been angry all of a sudden. I don't understand like why she'd allow Christian to take Anna home if she noticed.
I think that Christian is manipulative enough. For some people, like all you have to do is act authoritative and then everybody will be like, oh, all right, this is the boss. So it doesn't seem...
But we had a meeting between them in which they were basically butting heads. Like they both seemed to appear to be the same sort of assertive.
That's true, but when she's drunk and there's a boy, you can't...
So she's just... It doesn't... She also...
Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
I know that you want to believe that Kate is a good person.
Think okay. I basically just don't think that she'd be so concerned over her own libido that she'd just ignore her friend.
Yeah, but I just don't know. You know what? She didn't seem to care earlier when Anna was clearly like drinking way too much. I don't think she was really looking out for Anna, or maybe thought that Anna was doing better than she was.
I think that's what it was. Like, I think since they were celebrating, she was just like, oh, Anna can handle it. But that's a little different. She didn't know anything about the Jose thing. Who knows what she would have like thought if she'd seen that.
Okay, safe words.
Safe words. Where did you sleep last night? I turned to gaze at him, still sitting in the dining room chair. I can't see any blankets or sheets out here. Perhaps he's had them tidied away. In my bed, he says, simply, his gaze impassive again. Oh, yes, it was quite a novelty for me, too. He smiles. Not having... sex. There, I said the word. I blush, of course. No. He shakes his head and frowns as if recalling something uncomfortable. Sleeping with someone. He picks up his newspaper and continues to read. This is creepy. This is not okay.
Yeah.
He just dropped out like there was no biggie. Yeah, I just slept in a bed next to you that you don't remember. Checked your brow size. Don't care enough to look up from my newspaper. I just watched you all night, and I watched you earlier when I knocked on the door, but I didn't need to knock because I was watching.
He says, if you'd eaten properly yesterday, you wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't be declaring my hand so soon. So when was he going to declare his hand? How long is he drawing this out? Like
he was going to jerk her around for weeks.
She's supposed to steer clear of him and never see him again, but he's sending her these books. He was planning to declare his hand or something, but was he just going to keep stalking her? And it's so strange and scary. I just want to know what his plan was. Another thing is, one minute he rebuffs me, the next he sends me $14,000 books, then he tracks me like a stalker. And for that, I've spent the night in his hotel suite, and I feel safe, protected. He cares enough to come rescue me from some mistakenly perceived danger. Like, she recognizes that this is
scary, but I like it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I bet you like it too, because you're reading the book. All right, Chad, safe word.
The whole situation. She wakes up in a strange place, and at first she's kind of coming out of being really drunk, so okay, fine, maybe she's okay with it. But then she's not okay. She's kind of freaking out. She's like, oh my god, I'm in Christian Grey's bedroom. Then her overpowering lust allows her judgment enough for her to basically be okay with it. It's not good. And then there's further characterization of Christian being a huge unrepentant asshole, because he did this whole thing just because he thought he knew it was best. He tries to rationalize it by saying that, I didn't want to get my car dirty, but he's got all this money and power. He could have had anybody take her home, anybody that he trusted or something. And I know it's also probably partially to characterize him as being really possessive of Anna, that he didn't want to let her out of her
as it is with
sight.
writing, and I'm sure you have thought of this, there's a right way, there's a wrong way to write this kind of a thing.
Yep, yeah, but that's exactly my point. The last thing, and I know this is going to be a running theme of the book just because of how everything's been set up and how the book itself is presented. There's more parallels with darkness and forbidden things and the sex and stuff. She directly makes a comparison to the Garden of Eden and eating the forbidden fruit. That's not so cool.
No, not really. I agree.
Okay, what was good. Does anyone have one that's not me?
What was good?
I have 3 things, actually.
I have the thing, but I think it's similar to.
Oh, you do? You
What
almost
is it?
never have good things. Remember the first episode or
Yeah,
second
it's like,
episode?
I'm glad it's over.
I'm glad it's over. They were not good.
It's just a joke, guys.
What was your good thing?
I think some of the dialogue in this chapter was okay because of it was there was actual like banter and it was okay to read. And I think in general, even though it's still pretty bad and there's still a lot of mechanical issues, the writing is getting slowly better and I think this ties into like the fan fiction thing where she wrote it linearly, so she's improving over time. Each chapter seems to be getting slightly better.
I don't know. I don't really.
It's still not good,
Yeah,
but like
that's what I was gonna say.
it's a lot less egregious.
Yeah, they're not like saying each other's names every line. One of them is, a piece of dialogue. I've applied for some internships. I'm waiting to hear. Have you applied to my company as I suggested? I flush. Of course not. No. And what's wrong with my company? Your company or your company? I smirk. I thought that was good.
Yeah, that's kind of.
She also throws a line of dialogue back at Christian that he says at her earlier about.
I didn't like that. I thought that was dumb.
Yeah, but I mean
guess
like
if you're thinking about, like rhythms and stuff like that, it's okay. And callbacks.
definitely thought it was dumb. It also was weird because it was out of character for her.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, maybe now that she's not terrified, her cleverness is starting to reveal itself, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know either.
Another thing I liked was that this chapter took place all in one go. There wasn't any,
Yeah, that was alright.
location changing.
I was pleased with that.
Yeah.
Week changes suddenly. And I kind of liked the fact that Taylor bought her the lingerie. I like Taylor. He
Yeah,
seemed
Taylor
like,
is cool. I was gonna say that was the one good thing, but he doesn't actually show up.
I did like the idea of her imagining Taylor buying the lingerie. I thought that's something that I like to imagine too.
I mean, that's kind of sweet. He's a sweet guy.
Yeah.
So do you think, between the two of them, which do you think it was that knew where to go to get the lingerie? Christian or Taylor?
I think Taylor probably buys a lot of lingerie for a lot of ladies for Christian.
Oh, wait a sec. I thought you just meant in general he does.
Maybe, sure.
Yeah, maybe.
Why not?
Maybe.
Now I guess we go to the spoiler dungeon.
Spoiler dungeon. Can you please make the noises? Excellent. Okay, go ahead.
Do they go to Darfur?
No.
Because he mentions Darfur.
Yeah, he does, but they don't go.
Do we ever find out what he's talking about in that ridiculous, businessy, one-sided conversation? I want to read that. They want 2? How much will that cost? Okay. And what safety measures do we have in place? And they'll go via Suez? How safe is Ben Sudan? And when do they arrive in Darfur? Okay, let's do it. Keep me abreast of progress.
No. This is just a huge stream of bullshit. It never comes up again.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Do we ever find out what else is in Taylor's job description?
A little bit. Only a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does Anna get her period?
Yeah. Wait a sec.
And do they have to, does he send her away to a tent for a week like they used to do?
I will say this. I don't recall them having period sex.
Oh.
But yeah, he, I think at some point he makes this creepy comment you're on your period. He doesn't ask her, he tells her. And it's true.
He did implant a little goddess in her to monitor her cycle.
Any other questions?
Do we find out that Anastasia is secretly Bart Simpson?
That'd be so cool, but no. No, we don't.
Damn.
All right.
All right.
I guess that's it.
Thanks for listening.
Please, if you have any questions about the book or
Us, the book, whatever. Just give us some questions.
BDSM, ask questions. You can email us at holycastsofreakingpod@gmail.com, or you can go to holycast.tumblr.com and use the ask page there.
We would very much love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Your opinion is important.
See you next Tuesday. Bye.
Okay, bye.
See ya.
Calm down.
It's no spoilers.
No, okay, fine. I'm fine.
It's-